Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, and one more makes 10. All right, so we're going live in 5, 4, 3. Please don't open the beer in the empty time between.
I am so sorry. I can't believe that picked that up. I'm so sorry, Jesse. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Jesse. 5, 4, 3.
It is like the bottle cap falls on the ground. I heard that too.
All right, let me take a sip and I'll be ready.
Oof.
All right, so sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't think that sound would register.
No, you have a very powerful microphone and it's very loud. You're very loud, and everything that happens in your house is very loud. Just like, you can hear the clicks of my mouse, I can hear the pops of your burr.
Okay.
All right, are you ready to rock now?
Yes.
You've had all of the sips that you need. You're ready to go.
Yes. No, I'm ready to go.
Okay. Beginning in 5, 4, 3. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new Mark and Smark Connection podcast. It is your hostess, Smark, coming at you live from my desk. This week, we are picking back up. We had the week off last week with my birthday, so that was nice. But this week, we're going to pick up with a little bit of clips, as you've already heard so far. We also are going to have our In Your House review for what it's worth, and the Backlash preview for, again, what it's worth. So, thanks everybody for listening. We'll be picking up with some more business going forward, hopefully, question mark, but we'll see. Without me today, the Mark and the Connection are not here today, but we'll see him. We'll see him in a minute. We'll see. All right. So here's what happened in the week that was. So we're gonna start off with In Your House, the NXT takeover that happened last Sunday. It got to be its own standalone takeover, so it got to work on a Sunday instead. From there, we had a few matches that went through. Finn Balor beat Damian Priest. It looks like they might be moving Damian Priest in a different direction. Keith Lee retained the NXT North American Championship. Adam Cole retained in the Backlot Brawl against Velveteen Dream. And Karrion Kross beat Tommaso Ciampa. So there seems like they're putting a rocket on Karrion Kross right now. So that's pretty cool. The other thing that was very interesting that I was going to mention, but we ended up not having the show, is that Io Shirai defeated Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, and I think we had talked about this on one of our previous podcasts, but the fact that this is a way to reset the Charlotte Flair story, and I think that the Charlotte Flair experiment didn't work very well because they didn't make Charlotte Flair on NXT special. Why? Because they put her on every show. So it wasn't special that she was the NXT champion. She just happened to have something gold on her while she did wrestle in every show. If they maybe had made her just NXT champion, and they had given her, say, I don't know, the US Open Challenge rules, like Cody's doing with the TNT title right now, to wrestle a fresh female from the NXT roster every week, it might have actually worked out well. But it didn't. She just beat everybody who she came up against on Raw and on SmackDown, and it didn't elevate the title. So they pulled the plug on that. They're going to return Charlotte to Raw and SmackDown or whatever they're going to do. Probably just Raw. and go from there. And Io Shirai gets to have the title, and we get to move from there to a new world where Io Shirai is champion, which is a world I don't mind. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how the Rhea Ripley bit goes, whether that becomes the next feud or whether she circles her way back around. So that's NXT TakeOver. Let's see, anything big happen on Raw? The answer is not really. The Sasha and Bayley became the tag team champions at one point, the women's tag team champions at some point, and it was what it was. The penultimate 5-5 tie now as we head towards Backlash is the decathlon, which Angelo Dawkins can hurdle. And man, I was a hurdler in high school, and I know the pain, I know the skill it takes to do that, how tough it can be. And Doc had some air on there, so looking good. That's probably the best Doc has looked in any of these challenges. So good on him. It was pretty much a go-home show otherwise. The Viking Raiders then lost their match to MVP and Bobby Lashley later, so sure, why not? Asuka also lost to Charlotte Flair later in the night, so sure, why not? I'm sure that's, important to whatever storylines are being told. It does look like Karrion Kross is going to be the next man up for the NXT title. Scarlett brought an hourglass to the ring at the end of the main event at NXT, so we'll see where that goes. There was some good heel work done by Johnny Gargano, who got a roll-up pin while Keith Lee was concerned over accidentally falling on Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano's wife. So yeah, that bit is turning out well. I'm liking that. Finn Balor got his win back against Cameron Grimes as well, and now might be looking to get a match against Keith Lee, which I'd be interested in watching. That would be fun. And the big news of the night was that the Drake Maverick storyline has paid off, and Drake Maverick being a contracted NXT star. However, Elio del Fantasma is no longer a masked wrestler. He is going to be known as Santos Escobar, and the Lucha Kidnappers are now guys who were already kidnapped, and they're part of a new stable led by Santos Escobar, the former Io del Fantasma, and they beat the crap out of Drake Maverick. So there's some heat to go over there. And that's NXT. AEW was fun. We got to see the Revival in their new FTR in their very first match, so that turned out pretty good. As a fan of the now FTR, I was happy to see them move to a place where hopefully they'll be featured better, and their style will work better, will be booked better. So that's what I'm looking at. And I'm recording right after Friday Night SmackDown. And hooah! What could have been just a regular go-home show with matches like the Heavy Machinery and Braun Strowman versus The Miz and Morrison and Dolph Ziggler, just random feud city. No. What we got was the Intercontinental Championship Tournament Finals. And supposedly the greatest wrestling match ever, is going to be this weekend between Edge and Randy Orton. But it might actually have been AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. And that's a match that you would salivate about, and as it turns out, they're good wrestlers. You should get a chance. If you get a chance to watch it, you should. Top level work by both men, and I think AJ Styles will represent the belt very well. It's been in a little bit of limbo for a bit, so I think it will be exciting to see him kind of raise the caliber of that belt once more, and then all he's got to do is win the tag team titles, and he'll have won the Grand Slam. So good on AJ Styles, congrats. I thought maybe they might put it back on Daniel Bryan after he lost it when he had to retire. But that's what happened. That's where we are. So before I get to Backlash, here's a little clipper from one of our previous shows, one of the pre-shows of our previous shows. So enjoy, and I'll be right back.
I noticed the corner. I'm so sick of that guy. That was a quote from Dr. Rick Niviera.
Yeah. Cool. I thought you said the corner. And I was like, is that a new wrestler?
That would be like an unholy combination of The
Nope.
Undertaker and IRS.
No. The corner. As in nobody
the
puts
corner.
baby in the corner.
Oh, I get it.
And I
The
was
corner.
All right, because there was a wrestler called The Wall at one point. So they're a tag team, The Corner and The Wall.
You know, it's funny. His corners are more dangerous than walls.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the things that really hurt you. But you have to find a guy that looks like a corner. I mean,
He's just in Greco-Roman grappling pose the whole time. Or he's Naruto running if he wants to be the other corner.
yeah, he Naruto runs. He's got an angular face. He's got sort of the opposite of what Kofi has going on with his chest. I
He
don't
just
know.
has to have that nose. He just has to have that beak-like nose.
Yeah, then he can be the corner. And of course, somebody with a name like that can never be a baby face.
Of course, if you put the Wall and the corner together, most of the corners that occur in a house are the 90 degrees where you have the inside of the angle.
Gee, well, I'm looking at a corner right now that's pointed at me.
Here I am in my house, in my room right now. I've got
You're not
1,
about to start counting corners.
2,
That's...
3, 4,
Oh, no.
5 inside angle corners and 1 outside angle corner in my room.
Well, does the doorway count? I think the doorway counts.
The doorway does not count. The
doorway
is part of the
That's
wall.
a corner. No, but that's a corner.
I mean, my doorway is in my corner.
So it supports you?
It's yes.
Yes.
It's got my back.
All right, well, no, fine. I got 1, 2, just where I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inside corners. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now these are wall corners,
5,
not
6, 7 outside corners. I'm counting the doors. The doors count. That's a corner.
The doors are both inside. Well, if you're counting the doors, then it's only when it's open, and in that case, it is both It's two inside corners and 1 outside corner.
No, it's not. It's just
No, because my door is open right now. There's an inside corner for the door to the wall. And then there's another inside corner from the door to the wall, and then the door itself forms an angular corner that's coming out.
All right, fine. If we exclude doorways,
Right,
which is dumb.
Well,
but
excluding
if we do that,
doorways because doorways can always be walls.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4 outside corners, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside corners. Right. So how do you like that?
You have a jutting, you have 2 jutting out bits of wall.
There is a walkway that leads to the kitchen that is not a doorway.
That's fine. A half wall counts. So I'll take a half wall as corners.
Yeah. No, I live in an MC Escher nightmare, Jesse. It's just.
That's fair. I'll take that. Anyway,
if
we
that
had
doesn't
this deep corner conversation.
If that doesn't go on the highlight reel later, I don't know. Get out of here, Ozzy.
Well, I usually, if I'm pulling stuff, it's generally stuff that had we've talked about in some form for wrestling.
Oh,
it has some sort of business.
It's not our crazy conversation about corners.
No, but we did talk about the new wrestler, the corner, and his
corner.
tag team partner, the Wall. So clearly,
those were
we've got
ideas
spots in here.
They wouldn't even make it into indies. It'd be like, what's the idea for your gimmick? All right, get this. I'm the corner.
Yeah.
Corners are dangerous, right? You stub your toes on them. That's me.
No, corners are where I put my dresser.
Well, I'm thinking of the jutting corners, not the.
Oh, well, that's not what I'm thinking about. That's not what our audience is going to be thinking about. What you need.
No, you gotta. Okay, that's even worse if you're the corner and then you have to explain that you're the jutty out corner, not the inverse corner.
Right.
All right. So
obviously
very good.
Not a good gimmick.
No, clearly not. Goddamn, we could just make that the show and sign out.
But alas, I do have to talk a little bit about Backlash, which is coming up. Oh, yay, Backlash, hooray. Backlash looks like it's going to be just a very vanilla pay-per-view that's just kind of thrown into the schedule. There's obviously the Edge and Randy Orton greatest wrestling match ever, which will probably either be a complete troll where just Randy Orton just leaves or hits somebody with a chair or something like 4 minutes into the match, or they'll actually try to wrestle a match, and regardless of how good it's going to be, it won't be the greatest match ever because we already expect it to be, and our expectations will be set so high that they'd have to like fly it through space and charge up moves like DBZ characters in order for it to work. We got Asuka putting the red women's belt on the line against Nia Jax, which I think Asuka will actually finally retain in a match that matters after essentially years here being kind of being booked pretty poorly. So that I think will land in Asuka's favor. We've got the U.S. title on the line, the rematch between Andrade and Apollo Crews, and I think they're ready to let Apollo Crews run with it, so I think they'll let him keep that, as it were. We've also got a triple threat match for the women's tag team titles. The champions, Bayley and Sasha Banks, versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, and also the Iconics, who will be in action as well in that match. So that'll be going on. It'll be chaotic. Anyone really could win that match. I think that if Bayley and Sasha lose, it could, give some fuel to the inevitable breakup. The Iconics, there's a slight tease of a breakup, and maybe they lose, and there's a little bit there. The Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross bit will never break up. They're together. We do have the Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus match, which this week had a sobriety test with Jeff Hardy peeing in a cup in the ring. So I don't know who's going to win that one. Maybe it's Sheamus because he kind of needs more of the rub, but we'll see. And we also have the 2 championship matches. So we've got Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. And I think Drew will continue to go through. I think Bobby Lashley could be champion at some point still, but Drew's got the people in his corner right now, and I think it would be too soon to remove the title from him even now. It's not like the failure that Charlotte was. Drew's done what he's supposed to have done, and he's been credible and interesting as a champion. And Braun Strowman's going to beat The Miz and John Morrison in the Universal Championship handicap match because I don't really want to go through the whole Sami Zayn, somebody beats Braun Strowman for a title, I don't know who it is. Oh, I guess it's whoever pinned him. Great. The Miz is champion again. Hooray. I want The Miz to be champion, but I don't want The Miz to be champion through this. Braun Strowman's going to beat them both, and it's going to be convincing. I'm not sure if it'll be a true squash. I think the Miz and Morrison their powers combined will be enough to hold off Braun for a little bit, but there's no way he's going to win. And Edge versus Orton, it doesn't really matter who wins this one. All that matters is that it's a good match, and if it's good, then it'll be fine. If it's like the total troll match, I'll take that too. It won't, it'll be whatever. But the fact that they're trying to book this as the greatest wrestling match ever, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. It's not going to be the greatest wrestling match ever. Maybe if this was when both of these people were in their prime, and they're not, so it's not going to be the greatest wrestling match ever. I don't know what else to say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit from our 150th podcast. All of our members, our people who came in, our previous co-hosts, some guest stars were there, and we all talked about some of what was one of our greatest achievements in one of the places that is actually pretty hard to get to, supposedly. And I'll go ahead and give you that, and then we'll be back with our finisher / hot tag hot take.
Kind of like how people think they sing well in the shower, but you stick them in Carnegie Hall.
Actually, I've sung in Carnegie Hall.
I knew you were going to bring it up. I'm sorry.
That. There was at least one other party who's on this call. Matt Angry, did you sing in Carnegie Hall? Were you part of that group?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
You know what's ironic is I've lived here for 10 years, and I have performed at every hall of Lincoln Center, at least half a dozen other places in New York, and Zankill Hall in the basement of Carnegie Hall, but never the Stern part.
That's pretty funny.
You're circling the big daddy there.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, I didn't mean to compare our podcast to Carnegie Hall.
I know.
Before the Carnegie Foundation finishes their angry comment.
You can compare all you want.
Yeah.
It just won't be very long of a comparison.
So hot take. I'm coming in live here now again with you. My hot take this week is that Bruce Pritchard has now been put in charge of Raw and SmackDown. So, he's a reasonably decent dude with some reasonably decent ideas. I'm interested to see it. Paul Heyman will be moving away from his role in charge of, I believe it was Raw, and the creative process for Raw, and he'll be basically just in-ring performer at this point. I don't know if this is a cost-saving move or whether this is a creative move. Things haven't been great in terms of returns and viewership since Paul Heyman took over, and we had 3 cuckolding storylines at the same time. So I don't know if that's has to do with it, but we'll find out. And Matt, if you were to hot take, would probably tell you that his gimmick would probably be a Ghostbuster, no matter what, no matter where.
I got a party to go to later, so.
Well, fuck you.
It's an 80s theme party.
Fuck you.
Do you know what I'm going to be dressed as?
A Ghostbuster.
Well, what? Yes. It's like, Matt, come to our party. It's 90s themed. Ghostbusters are in the 90s. Matt, come to our party. It's Wild West themed. Ghostbusters were in the Wild West.
Like that one episode.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, you remember?
Yeah, no. You just wear a cowboy hat and your Ghostbusters stuff.
If I had a cowboy hat.
What? You live in Texas. You don't have
some
come
on. They don't give you a cowboy hat whenever you come out of the womb. It's like you'll grow into it. No, I don't have a cowboy hat or boots or a gun. I'm
They don't swaddle you in a cowboy hat?
They swaddle you in the Texas flag. What are you talking about? Don't be silly.
Yeah, you're right. Good call.
So with that, we're going to head to our finisher for the night. That's going to be the wrestling move that normally someone would make up and then somebody would come up with more of the how it's actually done. Me, I'm just going to do it all tonight. And it's going to be the empty corner. So this wrestling move is a tag team finisher, just like most of our moves here. And what it's going to be is somebody he's going to get real hyped and he's going to put in some big pops and hit somebody right in the mouth, throw some potatoes and hit him right in the face, and he's going to turn for some support from his tag team partner, and there's going to be no one in the corner, and it's not even going to be like a front-facing corner, a back-facing corner, or the corner of the wrestler. No, it's going to be empty. Nobody's there to back him up. So he says, fine, I'll win it myself, and he'll just do a big, huge splash from the top rope. It'll be 1, 2, 3, and he'll go to the back, and he'll find out that all the guys were back there getting a surprise party ready for him. So be very happy. He'll say, thank you for not forgetting my birthday, and thank you for listening to the Mark and Smark Connection podcast on markandsmark.podbean.com, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, YouTube, Facebook.com/markandsmark, at Mark and Smark on Twitter and Instagram, and on the Daily Smark website. So, with that in mind, thank you, everybody. Oh, you can also see us on the Daily Smark app if you get it on your phone. Actually, I'm not sure if you can get us on the Daily Smark app, but you can get the Daily Smark app on your phone. So, check that out. It's a good place to get caught up on all of the wrestling knowledge. So, with that in mind, thank you, everybody, for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Hey, that was a present.
I think I'll smash that right at the end of the podcast. You yelling off camera, hey, that was a present.
Well, actually, that was me yelling at the goddamn cat.
I assumed as much, yes. I assumed that was exactly what it was.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, I'm recording now. We weren't recording. I hit the record to right as you were starting to yell at the cat. So, yeah. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.